Over the last 10 years, Peaky Blinders has been one of the most popular shows from the BBC and has scoured quite a significant fan base in that time. And with the final episode of Season 6 finally airing, that means that the TV show has finally come to a close. Now we will go into full spoilers here, so this is your spoiler warning. With this final season, our main character Tommy Shelby does get the big spotlight here. It really is the Tommy Shelby show in this season, and it was great to see, considering where it left off in Season 5 with him pointing a gun to his head, to how it progresses in this new season. That was very interesting. Although I do understand people's frustrations with characters like Arthur Shelby not getting much time at all really to develop in this last season, with him actually having a substance abuse throughout the majority of it. The ending was satisfying enough, but you do feel like they have left a lot for the film, which they have confirmed there will be a Peaky Blinders film. And after watching the final episode, you completely understand that they have to do a film. There's so many things left open that they need to resolve. Now, of course, this last season did have a few issues towards the start of production, one being a worldwide virus, which we all know about, and the second one being the sad passing of Helen McCrory, who played Aunt Pol. A fantastic character, very much a fan favourite character, but also a significant character towards the show, so you understand why they had to do a lot of rework in terms of the story. And I think with them opening the series with finding out that Polly is dead, and having the funeral for Polly's character was a great way to start off, and also just a way to address that, yeah, she's gone, and it's a massive part of the show, but also a massive part of the cast and crew's lives that Helen McCrory has unfortunately passed. So I think that was a great way to start off, and also then it triggers the conflict between Tommy and Michael further, and we know that that's going to be the spearhead to the end of this final season. And as we move into the series, we find out that Tommy's daughter Ruby is dying, and seeing Tommy's anger in the hospital, and then his sadness as well, like on his own, and how he takes out these emotions and how determined he is to try and find a cure for her, was a very intriguing watch. And then the scene between him and Lizzie, when Lizzie tells him that he's missed it, she's died and he wasn't there, and just seeing the expression that Cillian Murphy puts onto Tommy Shelby's face there was fantastic. He really showed everything you need to see, and that was definitely one of the most impactful scenes throughout the whole season, definitely. I gotta say, I think how they handled Tommy and Lizzie's relationship was quite well done in this season, especially when we have those scenes with those two and Diana and Mosley. So we can see the contrast between the two, but we can also see how they're sort of smiling at each other, but also looking at each other with devil eyes, you know. So I think those scenes are really captivating, and definitely stand out in terms of the ones with the Mosley storyline, because we didn't really get into so much with Mosley here compared to season 5, and that leads me to think that the Peaky Blinders movie will definitely go into that a lot more. And a plotline that links into this that is yet to be resolved is, of course, Uncle Jack and Gina. So we know that now Michael has been shot by Tommy, but we don't know how Gina reacted to it, and we don't know what the consequences of that will be for Tommy. I think Gina will definitely appear in the film, of course, played by the wonderful Anya Taylor-Joy, already very much a Hollywood actress already, so I think she'll definitely appear in the movie. I think how the movie will work is going to be very interesting. Apparently it's set towards the start of World War II, so that obviously can be for another day, another discussion, but I'm really intrigued to see how they do weave all these loose plot lines which need resolving into the film, but we'll have to wait and see. But what we did get resolved was Michael and Tommy's conflict. I thought the scene overall was quite predictable, but it was satisfying enough, you know. The shootout was quite a Western style climax with him shooting him in the eye, and then we get a scene with Tommy and Alfie. If that's the last we see of Alfie, Tom Hardy has played that role fantastically throughout the whole series, and it'd be great to see him in the film though. If they can get him in the film, of course Tom Hardy is a great actor. But yeah, if that's the final scene we see, then it's been a great farewell for Alfie Solomons. Another part of the story that did get wrapped up was Arthur did get vengeance for Polly. I loved how that scene built up the suspense, then the shootout, and then we had the gas mask on his head as well. It's definitely one which will stick in the memory from that final episode. Now, something I didn't predict for the final season was that Tommy Shelby would come across his son, and he would bring his son into the company, and the final scene with his son Duke and Finn telling him that he's no longer Shelby, and by all of the Peaky Blinders, I mean, there's a lot left there, isn't there? So again, something for the film maybe to pick up with, but yeah, that was an interesting thing so late on in the series. Now, someone I haven't mentioned yet is Ada, who had a pretty decent episode when she had to fill in for Tommy, and she really did show her Shelby spirit in that one, where she wasn't taking any crap, and you can really see her leader potential there. And so when Tommy assigns her the leader of the Shelby company at the end of the series, you completely understand where that trust is coming from. And with the conclusion of the final episode, we find out that the doctors were lying to Tommy about his diagnosis and that they were in fact in with the Mosleys. How he finds it out throughout the vision of his daughter is here and there, but he does find it out, and it just leads to a satisfying ending to his character, that now we see all of his prized possessions burning, and he's there with the white horse this time, looking in at that and looking back on that, and now moving forward. And it's a great contrast from the start of the whole series, where he's riding in on the black horse, and now he's riding in or riding off on a white horse. So Peaky Blinders as a whole series, it's been a great gangster thriller. I think you can split it into thirds as well. You got the first 2 seasons where it introduces you to the family and the whole lifestyle here, and you got Sam Neill's character, you got Grace, and you just learning all about it. And then we have the 3rd and 4th season where it gets a bit more gritty. You get the Italians involved. You get Adrian Brody's Luca Changretta, who is great. Tom Hardy's Alfie gets into it a lot more there as well. We get the sad death of John as well. So I thought that was definitely the peak of the show for me, the 3rd and 4th season sort of time. And then the final 2 series, we have a bit more about Tommy going into politics, and of course this last season being a lot more based around just Tommy. And it's a different kind of story. It's not been my favourite. I think season 5 is probably the weakest one at the whole lot, but I've still enjoyed it. It's still been a very captivating watch. And one I think which you look back on in 10 years time, Peaky Blinders will be a TV show which you'll pick out and be like, yeah, that was a fantastic program. And one of the bright sparks is Cillian Murphy as Tommy Shelby. He has completely owned this role. It'd be one which he would look back on at the end of his career and think, yeah, this has really been a top moment for me, and one which made him a household name. Like, he's getting so many great roles now, which is awesome to see. He's a fantastic actor, and yeah, I just can't wait to see anything he does in the future, really. It is difficult to judge the climax of the show because we don't have the climax of the story yet, because that will be left for the film. But what we did get conclusions for here, I thought was satisfying enough, and I think when I look back on the show, I would recommend it as a whole. So overall, Peaky Blinders has been one of my favourite shows throughout the last decade. If you're interested in a gangster style TV show, which is set in Birmingham, then this is definitely for you. I think it's so good. There's some areas, of course, where it could have been better, absolutely, but I think we look at it as a whole, wrapped up in one big bundle. I'll say this is a great show, one of the best ones we've had in some time. And of course, I already mentioned the theme tune, Red Right Hand, which is a perfect fit for this show. And by order of the Peaky Blinders, like the bloody video, comment below your thoughts, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.